What's up, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm just an American guy on a journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Today, we're going to be reacting to the 10 most haunted places in Britain. I'm guessing this list was really hard to stop at just 10 because, you know, the history of the British Isles and UK in particular is so ancient, and there are so many really old buildings that I'm guessing the amount of supposed haunted places is insane. I'm guessing this list is just a small fraction. Probably, I'm guessing these are probably some of the more famous ones because that's probably how I compiled this list. But anyways, guys, I enjoy looking at this type of stuff, the hauntings, unexplained happenings, paranormal type stuff. So, you know, if you have other ideas of things I would be interested in regarding that type of stuff, please feel free to share it in the comments. Because I'll definitely look into things like that from time to time. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and check out what the 10 most haunted places in Britain supposedly are.
Although now a respectable public house, some believe it holds echoes of a sinister past.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most haunted places in Britain.
Tower of London is famous for being the place where prisoners
I bet that is haunted.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel
Absolutely.
and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at some UK locations notorious for sinister sightings and things that go bump in the night. Have you ever seen a ghost? Tell us the tale in the comments below. Number 10, Duntelham Castle
Wow,
Ruins,
that's beautiful.
the Isle of Skye.
Where's Isle of Skye
This
at?
castle rises from
I've never
the
heard of that.
coastline of Trottenish, Skye's most northerly peninsula. The last living inhabitants of the castle, the MacDonald clan, were reportedly driven out by the spirits in 1730. At night, it is said you can hear a woman's screams amidst the ruins.
Ooh, that does look
This
spooky,
is believed
man.
to be the ghost
Wow.
of a housemaid who dropped her young charge from a high window and paid the price for her tragic mistake. Her voice is sometimes joined by the wails of Margaret, the spirit of a woman rejected by her husband. In the courtyard, the ghost of Donald Gormore wrestles with phantom enemies. His foe, Hugh MacDonald, haunts the dungeons, where he met his death by starvation. Number 9.
By the way, where is the Isle of Skye at? I think he said it was the north something. Is that up kind of towards? Is that? I guess that's an island, one of the islands around the UK. I've never heard of it before, but wow, that was both. I bet that looked both like a spooky place, but beautiful at the same time. A lot of times, you know, the spookiest places are the most beautiful places. So, the Drovers in West Dunbartonshire. Okay.
The Drovers Inn, West Dunbartonshire. Travelling down to the mainland,
Wow.
the Drovers Inn, not far from Loch Lomond, may be worth a stopover if you're feeling brave enough. Guests
Wow.
at the inn have
That does
often
look
borne
spooky.
witness to ghostly happenings. You might hear the screams of a murdered Georgian man, Angus the Drover, on his nightly walkabout.
Man,
And don't be surprised if you wake to find a spectral family waving down at you, or spot a deceased
Oh,
regular
man.
sitting by the fireside. If you're easily spooked, perhaps avoid room 6. Overnight guests have often felt the presence of a drowned child, icy cold to the touch, and laid beside them in bed. Number 8.
okay, yeah, that would be a little spooky, yeah. But oh my goodness, I can't stand those things. You know, like, you know, have you ever seen the commercials where all of a sudden it's like a car just going around just a beautiful countryside mountain or something, and all of a sudden they have one of those things jump up and scream at you, and you just weren't expecting it. Oh my goodness. I should have expected something like that in a video like this, but you know, because of what he's talking about. But that would be a spooky thing, having an apparition that you could feel get into bed with you. That'd be a little spooky.
Whitby Abbey, Yorkshire. As the setting
Oh,
for
wow.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's not surprising that this northern seaside town has a sinister reputation. St. Mary's Churchyard reportedly plays host to a traditional horse-drawn hearse, lit by torches and driven by a headless coachman.
I think I've
A
heard
crowd
that.
of spectral mourners complete the picture. The apparition is said to appear whenever a sailor from the town is buried within the grounds of the churchyard. On the cliff above, Whitby Abbey remains the favorite haunt of its
Wow,
founder,
that's
St. Hilda,
beautiful.
who has been spotted in an upper window. But if you hear a cry for help, that may be the spirit of Constance de Beverley, a young nun once bricked up inside the abbey walls. Number 7. Ancient Ram Inn, Watton-under-Edge, Gloucestershire. Nestled in the heart of Gloucestershire, this 12th century inn was built
12th
where
century.
two ley lines meet, on the site of a possible pagan burial ground. Visitors have often
That's interesting.
reported over 20 different apparitions, from a witch burned at the stake to a mounted Roman centurion.
Family home since the 1960s, evidence suggests that this was a pagan burial site, the scene of both witchcraft and human sacrifice.
The ghost of a monk regularly haunts the bishop's room and has driven out guests in the middle of the night.
Heavy footsteps have been heard walking across the floor when there's no one here.
You may hear the wailing of a priestess or encounter a lost little girl in the basement. But you better watch out for the succubus, who's been known to push guests onto the bed.
Front room. This is where John Humphreys has been attacked several times by the incubus and succubus.
Number 6. Skird Mountain Inn, Monmouthshire. In the shadow of Skird Mountain stands the oldest inn in Wales. A pleasant stop for an afternoon drink, but a frightening place to spend the night if you're attuned to the paranormal. The upper floor was once a courtroom where over the years 182 people were condemned to death by hanging.
Wow.
182 people lost their lives to the hangman's noose.
The sentences were carried out on the stairs of the inn, and you can still see the marks from the rope scored into the hanging beam.
Okay.
People have found rope burn marks around their necks where previously there were no marks at all.
It seems as if some nasty spirits have been left behind. Guests have woken in the night feeling like they've been strangled. One woman even fled her room with wet hair, screaming that an unseen presence had held her underwater in the bath.
She was really distressed, absolutely hysterical.
Number 5. Treasurer's House, Yorkshire. Treasurer's House is a National Trust property in Yorkshire, dating from the 12th century. But the spirits that haunt the place are even older. Harry Martindale was 18 when he was called out to fix the boiler in the cellars of the house. Imagine his surprise when a trumpet sounded and a stream of Roman soldiers, looking rather tired and dirty, marched straight through the cellar wall.
And I saw that a figure had come out of the wall. What I was looking at was the top of a helmet.
The engineer fled upstairs where he met the curator of the house. Taking one look at his face, the man guessed, "By the look of it, you've seen the Romans." This is just one example among many sightings of the soldiers. Archaeologists have since discovered that the cellar floor is built 18 inches above an old Roman road.
And the Roman road runs 18 feet below ground.
So
Number
interesting.
4, Pluckley, Kent. According to the Guinness Book of Records, the sleepy village of Pluckley is the most haunted in England. There have been reported sightings of 14 different ghosts. You may catch a glimpse of the old schoolmaster who was found hanging in his rooms and now haunts the school grounds. Or hear the screaming man who met his untimely death at the brickworks.
Are you the screaming man who haunts these woods? I'm gonna take a picture, and I request that you show yourself in front of my camera.
The woods are supposedly full of phantoms, as is the local pub, where the dogs bark at unseen figures and avoid one of the upstairs rooms.
Even the dog has got her suspicions. She doesn't like going up the stairs.
A spectral carriage has also been seen trundling down the village main street.
And then it just disappeared into the night. I mean, I've heard of Pluckley being haunted, but until we actually see that, I didn't really believe it until then.
Number 3, Pendle Hill, Lancashire.
Wow,
In
that's beautiful.
1612, 10 women were accused of practicing witchcraft during the notorious Pendle witch trials. They
Gotta
were
look into that.
sentenced at Lancaster Castle and put to death on Gallows Hill, high above the town.
The day after the trial, the 10 convicted prisoners were brought to a place still known as Gallows Hill.
It's said that their presence and an abiding feeling of anger can still be felt in the surrounding area of Pendle. Separated from the Bowland Fells by the River Ribble, Pendle Hill is dotted with small villages and farmsteads. But locals are wary of the hill at night, where ghostly figures have allegedly been spotted. The hill's summit is also the site of an ancient Bronze Age burial ground.
Wow.
So perhaps the alleged witches are not the only restless spirits in this lonely place. Number 2, the Tower of London.
Yeah, I bet.
It's not surprising that this historical place of execution is thought to house its fair share of ghosts.
Wait.
And was originally...
The Tower of London was a place of execution? I don't really know anything about the Tower of London. It's something I need to look into. That's the last thing I thought it was. I didn't know it was was it like a jail or something?
Built as a fortress for the king.
Okay.
But it's torture and executions that make this castle so haunted.
Okay.
In the tower's grim heyday, many memorable figures traveled through Traitor's Gate to live out their final days.
Wow.
It may have been months or years, but the end was usually the same, an appointment with the executioner. There are at least 13 ghosts thought to haunt the former palace.
Wow.
Across the ages, some have claimed to see the phantom forms of Anne Boleyn and the murdered princes. But more sinister are the unknown apparitions. The white figure on Tower Green, the faceless young woman in the Salt Tower, and the nameless thing that stalks the guards as they walk their rounds.
Ghost stories or Victorian melodrama? Who knows?
Number 1, Culloden Moor, near Inverness. On the 16th of April 1746, the Battle of Culloden Moor saw the slaughter of Bonnie Prince Charlie's army. The massacre of the Jacobites was followed by a brutal crackdown, and life for the Highlanders was never the same. Some say that the dead don't rest, even now. On the anniversary of the battle, the sounds of the fighting are said to be heard across the moor. Many visitors to the site have reported seeing a tartan-clad figure who speaks of defeat when approached. There have also been reports of a ghostly wounded Highlander. The area surrounding the graves is also ominously silent, or so it is claimed. The birds don't sing, and a sense of tragedy echoes down the years. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo UK.
Wow. So, like you said, do you agree with his picks? These are the first haunting stories I've heard from the UK, and they sound pretty interesting. You know, it's just another category of things that I would want to go and explore when I was in the UK and Ireland as well. You know, like, obviously I want to go by a bunch of cemeteries. I want to go see all these different villages and things. I want to try different foods, but you know, there's so many different things. But now add haunted places to my list of things I'd like to check out, because it is true. You know, there's haunted places in America, obviously, but the history's obviously not as long. And so there's not as much, there's probably not as much hauntings here as there in the UK and Ireland, obviously, because just longer history. But wow, you know, on top of that, it really made me realize, like, you know, I already knew there was so much history, but I just learned a few more historical things here that I need to look into. It's like so much history, not even about the paranormal side of it, just like the history itself. But you add the paranormal to it, and it's just like, wow, it's just so in depth. There's so many different directions to look into. You know, it's just amazing. And also just some new places, you know, like the Isle of Skye. And I heard a few other ones on here that I had never heard about. Maybe I'll go back and look at those in a little bit. But wow, I got to check out more places. You know, like the Isle of Skye, for example. The Isle of Man is one I need to check out. But this was really interesting. I enjoy looking at things like this. So if you have other suggestions about paranormal events, unexplained events, anything like that, feel free to share them in the comments. I appreciate them. You know, do you believe in ghosts? You know, I I, for the most part, do, because I've experienced things myself. You know, a lot of times when you're experiencing those things, you might chalk it up to your mind playing tricks on you. But I've had a lot of things happen to me, and my entire family, pretty much, for the most part, believes in spirits and stuff like that. Especially my mom. She's very much into that type of stuff. And it just makes sense. It's like, I don't believe that humans are just these, sacks of meat. I believe that we are energy condensed into a solid form. So I believe that once this solid form that you're in, this body, something is happening to you after that. Okay. People can believe what they want to believe about what happens to them after death. But I believe that your energy you aren't your body. You are energy. You are a form of energy. You are a soul, a spirit, whatever you want to call it, inside this suit that you're wearing, which is your body. And it just makes sense to me. But to each their own. Everybody's free to believe whatever they want to believe, and it's all good. But I definitely think there's more to us than just the bodies we're in. So it makes sense that sometimes, maybe, energy gets trapped in certain places because of traumatic events or certain reasons maybe we don't even know about. And so that would be where the hauntings are. Or perhaps those hauntings aren't even aware. Perhaps it's just, transient energy that is just kind of energy redoing doing the same motions over and over and over again forever. Perhaps it's not actually, some of this energy is not even like aware spirits. It's like literally just, someone came and looked out the same window every single day for every morning at 8:00 for 50 years, and then they died. Maybe that energy just continued. I don't know. These are, it's all, most of anything paranormal is hypothesis at best, but it's very interesting, and I love learning about it and exploring it. And one thing I've experienced a number of things. I don't want to go in detail about all of them, but one thing I have experienced is my dad died, long time ago. I was just, what was I, 20? I think I was 20. Anyway, I was somewhere around that. And he ended up, I felt his energy. And then I actually was taking a picture of my girlfriend at the time, because I ended up moving back into that house temporarily after he died. And my mom and dad were split up at that point. They've been split up for a long time, but so it was just, it was just him, and I ended up moving in that house. The house was gone now. He was still paying on it, whatever. He died at 46 years old, so he was still young. And but I was taking a picture of my girlfriend at the time, and she was laying on the couch, and I caught an apparition in the photo. I still have the photo. Not right here in front of me, but I still have the photo. And it's clear as day. It's an apparition. And that was about 2 months after my dad's death. And he died in that house. I actually found him dead there. Unfortunately, that was pretty traumatic. But that experience, I would catch him. He used to go and he would mess with the air conditioning unit all the time, and I caught an apparition multiple times going to the air conditioning unit. So, just little things like that. I'm sure a lot of us have had experiences like that. So, anyways, guys, I'm done rambling. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Please click that like button. Feel free to share your comments and suggestions. And don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. See you later. Peace.